it seems like we're losing the middle class, you know? I wasn't one of those people that was so fortunate to have been born into money, you know? It amazes me how opportunistic so many people can be when it comes to that. People kill over money, you know? $20, spending the rest of their lives in prison, thinking they were going to get more, or I don't know, maybe didn't care, perhaps. But I talk about this because I had had the misfortune, I guess, of, knowing, crossing paths with a couple of people just throughout my life. And I guess it's made me wonder, I guess, like, you know, that were born into money and living off mom and dad's income and never take responsibility for themselves, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. And that just astounds me. Now, yeah, I will say, okay, when my mother was growing up, my mother came from wealth, extreme wealth, had servants, maids, butlers, absolutely, over in Germany years ago during World War II. But during that war, they lost everything because soldiers came in and robbed, and, they lost a lot. But by the time I came into the world, and came to the United States, our father died 11 days after being in this country, and we were dirt poor. Dirt poor. It was the kindness of strangers that we had food and clothes. It was. And my mother, through her own determination to keep all 6 of her children together in a foreign country, it was through her determination that she went to work, managed to obtain employment, something, custodial work, even though she was a dental hygienist in Germany, that she managed to do that. But I remember, eating macaroni and cheese and having to drink milk, which I absolutely hate. To this day, I never liked white milk, skim milk, outside of having it in my cereal or in my oatmeal or something. But just to drink a glass of milk, no. It's just never my thing. So, I just, I've had this conversation with many people about, why is it that so many people are well off? And I think, well, many people are well off because they're born into it and things get handed down through inheritance or, whatever. Some people are self-made success stories, which I absolutely commend and respect. But then, for people, that inherit things, well, that's absolutely well and good. But then you have people who are, just, they never grow up and take responsibility and learn how to stand on their own 2 feet without the help of mom and dad. And I'm talking people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s. There are people who are in their 60s who still, rely on mom and dad. It's like, you gotta be kidding me, You gotta be kidding me. Pardon me. I was 6 years old when my father died, and then I was 38 when my mother died. So, I know what it's like to have, and I know what it's like not to have. I can appreciate either side of it. I realize, not all happiness is placed in money. Money buys instant gratification. It doesn't buy happiness. There are people that have money that are absolutely miserable, because they're living well beyond their means to try to impress, maintain, status and prestige. And for what? And it breeds other issues, but if, you're somebody that comes from that walk of life and And there are many people who, who are great parents, who are successful, who make their children learn about responsibility. Regardless. It's like, yeah, you stand to inherit this when I go, but, whether it's family-owned business or whatever, they still make their children take responsibility. Because you got to become self-sufficient in whatever you do in life, and not be dependent, waiting for mom or dad to drop dead, or think mom or dad's always going to bail you out, or give you money so that you can live extravagantly. And so many people buckle to that because they want their children to have everything. Well, every parent wants that. But you want, everything's a judgment call. It's a judgment call. And so, do I pass judgment? No. I'm just trying to make a point about how, astounding it is to me. Because it's more than just one person that I've met that it's like that, grown, very grown, not, teenager or somebody in their 20s still leaning on parents. I get how things happen. Sometimes you gotta turn to a family member or a friend and you need help or whatever, but when you're 40, 50, 60 years old, and, you still have your parents helping you pay for your bills, there's something wrong with that. There is. Life is about taking responsibility for yourself. And, it is through the acquisition of things through your own hard work and perseverance that you truly learn to appreciate what you have. When things are handed to you or you take, it's easy come, easy go. You have no appreciation for that. That's what I know. And I mean, to each his own. Some people aren't meant to ever grow up or ever learn true independence or true responsibility. But really, I wonder about people like that, like their parents pass and they find out that maybe their parents didn't have as much because they took their parents for so much in life that they're left in a predicament. What becomes of them? And it happens. It happens all the time. You find out, wow, mom and dad or auntie or uncle didn't have this or that as much as I thought because, well, mom, dad, or auntie or uncle kept giving and depleted. And a lot of times people like that end up with absolutely nothing in the end, and it's not, it's just so opportunistic to think like that. And it's, I shudder to think, I never looked at my mother that way. Never did. My mother was my apple scrapple, meaning my best friend. Despite what I ever did, my mistakes, the things that I did to make her proud, the things that I did that were disappointing, all the combination above, at the end of the day, it was my apple scrapple. We were tight. And, there's just not enough money in the world. And I'd give anything to have her back, and that's really the truth to that. But, people just live so presumptuously and, just selfishly and taken for granted and assuming to have another day. And the day does come where there's not another day. That day comes. And that's as real and true as I'm sitting here doing this video, so... do I look at people like that with disgust? No, I just look at people like that and just shake my head. Just like, wow, have you got some valuable lessons to really learn? And then, of course, the back thought is some people don't ever learn. And, And it's not my problem, really. It's just food for thought. It's things that I'm just kicking out, really. It's not my problem as long as it doesn't affect me. And it doesn't. What somebody eats doesn't make me shit, essentially. So, sorry for the vulgarity, but just making a point. I got my own life to live and my own choices to make. And, I know how to be self-sufficient, and I recognize the difference in that, and in being responsible, and maintaining my own level of independence, doing the best that I can, to be the best person that I'm supposed to be, despite my ups and downs and everything else. At the end of the day, I know what's underneath this the skin, of myself. And that's the only person I'm really accountable to, is myself. So no, I'm not holding anybody else accountable by even discussing this. It's just like thought-provoking, like, Jesus Christ. You think, you have your own problems and this and that, and then you stop and you look, it's like, wow, would you really want to trade places with somebody else in this predicament? Not really. Not me. Not hardly, so...